there we go. Another one for the shelf. Another one for Team Decepticon, Blitzwing. A figure that really a lot of people have been waiting for an update since Astro Training Siege. So I can understand why a lot of people want to get their hands on this figure straight away, if not sooner. But putting him on the shelf just now, I just noticed something. Did you see it too, or you didn't? Okay, this is probably something I'm going to have to talk about. Let's go. So, first things first. Blitzwing is a leader class figure. Fits into the leader class category, and rightly so. He's a big figure, or at least supposed to be. And that's what I meant from on the shelf. If you look at him and Galvatron side by side, he's not really $55 worth of plastic. And really, $55. Yes, due to inflation and just things being the way they are, it's now $55 on average for a leader class figure. And really, is he worth it? Yes and no, but I'll get into the whys and wherefores while we compare. Now, before I look into the actual figures themselves, I kind of want to go over the accessories really quickly. Now, the sword that comes with Blitzwing is your typical Blitzwing-esque sword. It's got some nice detailing, if you can see, nice molding. Color's good, they've got paint where it should be, hilt, blade, normal, right? Well, compare that to the sword that we got with Laser Prime. Again, it's a good sculpt, it's in clear plastic, yeah, I know. But really, there is one glaring problem with both of these items. I don't know if you can really tell, but they're kind of both bent a little, which seems to be an issue. And this one, while I have managed to straighten out, there is still a bit of a curve, but Blitzwings, you can really tell. And I've tried to straighten this thing out multiple times, and I've had this for 2 weeks now, and the sword is still not straightening out. It's made of a very, very pliable plastic, and you might think, oh no, he's going to break it by doing this, but this plastic is very malleable and designed, I think, to basically not poke someone's eye out.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yes, poke someone's eye out. I'm going to make that reference because, you know, it has to be made. So the sword already is aesthetically good, but functionally kind of poor on execution, in my opinion. It's Arkansas in the south in summer, and there is no ventilation in transport these days. None, unless it's for food. So a plastic toy really has no chance of not coming away with just a little bit of warpage. And if you're someone that really doesn't know how to straighten things like this out, like yourself, it's just one of those things that we're going to have to live with. So A for effort, but C on execution. The blasters themselves, dual wielding is optional, as you do get 2 in the box, but really it's all gimmick. You've got 2 ports on either side, and these are designed to be used in multiple locations on the figure, both in jet, tank, and robot mode. So it's kind of screen accurate, but it's just purple plastic in a nice gun shape. So if you like guns in purple plastic, this is definitely up your alley. But then there are these things. These strange things. Now, unless you really want to do the Dr. Evil continue pose, what are these? Yeah, they're cannons and you can use them for multiple blast effects, as there is enough ports on these to basically do a whole fleet of ships. But what are they? Seriously, I'm confused. Like, really?
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Really? So unless you're really into giving Blitzwing giant comically big hands like foam fingers at a football match, then I don't understand why these are here. Is this the $5 extra we're paying on top to get this as a leader class? Because this guy's as big as Scourge and Megatron. And really, for what he can do as a triple changer, we have also had Snapdragon and Apeface. I feel like I'm missing the point is kind of what I'm saying, because this to me is not $55 worth of plastic if you say that it includes these. So yeah, this, I don't understand these. It's confusing is what I think I'm trying to get the point across it being, because apart from looking like giant novelty hands or rockets, I mean, okay, let me back up and explain why this is so confusing just a little bit more. When we got Siege Astro Train, we got a separate piece which was a launching pad to his shuttle mode. Now that makes sense, but that's only good for one mode, right? Wrong. It also backed up as a carriage / coal area on train mode. So already you've got one spare bit of plastic that is doing two jobs in one. It's enhancing the playability features of the toy, if that makes sense. These things, apart from making him look like he's got giant hands and extra big rocket boosters on a jet, which really shouldn't have them, what are they? I know Energon gimmick for this particular thing that Legacy are doing, but it doesn't really feel that well thought out, if I'm being honest. Now I know that I am seemingly griping about nothing important at all, but really $55, $50, there's a significant difference. And really, in these times of inflation and the world being the way it is, this figure costs exactly the same as a regular tank of gas. And all it does is sit on your shelf. Come on, goddammit, I paid enough for you. You need to make yourself useful. No one lives in this house without paying in some kind of rent. No one. Yes, people, genuinely, this is worth a tank of gas in 2022. That comment hasn't dated this video at all. So without all the bells and whistles, on its own, he is, I will admit, an aesthetically brilliant figure. He hits all the right G1 hotspots that I think he should. You can even fold out these side pieces of small wings, which don't really do anything, but add to the overall aesthetic, because you did see his wings out like that in the G1 cartoon. And that's a nice little touch. It's a nice little touch for things that they didn't have to add on. But again, let's start off with a comparison first, just to prove my point. We start off with Kingdom Galvatron, and you can tell it's Kingdom Galvatron mainly because he's got battle damage, and I've got the arms the wrong way around because of the joint issue that this one originally came with, which, yeah, I'm not going to go into that. It's not a big deal. It's fixable. It's livable. He looks great. But my point still stands. Even at this angle, you can definitely tell there was a significant height difference. Blitzwing's head levels out to around Galvatron's upper chest, which gives him a full head height size and width out than Blitzwing does. And yeah, he comes with all the accessories and the bells and whistles, dual pistols, which I do kind of understand for things like jet mode, but I like my characters dual wielding, so that, again, I have to put a try in the column for this guy rather than against, even though it's one of the most minor things. But you can tell the size difference, and you are paying more for this guy than you were for Kingdom Galvatron. Also, for the battle damage removal for Galvatron in Legacy, that is another $55. That is another tank of gas. what you are looking at on screen is 2 tanks worth of gas. But I will stop the griping for at least a small moment, because this guy, as I said, the aesthetics are absolutely gorgeous. The shade of purple they used is so good. It's one of those deep purples, which I do appreciate, and purple being my favorite color, this really stands out on the shelf for me in a positive way. Chair move. The yellow on the head doesn't really match up with the yellow on the chest, but it just makes the head pop that much better in my view. And while I do really not like Transformers with majorly different head color variations than their bodies, on Blitzwing it works. I also love the fact that he's got so much articulation in the head, and he's got that chunk cut out right about here. So what that allows you to do is have those real looking up poses, like he's dreaming of a world without war, which will never happen. But he's got those brilliant deep red shades, and that's the good thing. All these colors, even the kind of matte sand colors, they're all committed. They're all real solid colors, and there's no kind of ape face coloration, if that makes sense. There's no kind of halfway. It does what it does, and it's proud of what it's doing. Yeah, it's the head for me is the biggest selling point for the aesthetics, because it's a stone cold look on the face. It's got his shades down. The articulation is bomb ass. Where the articulation is not bomb ass is the arms. Now you'll notice that there are flaps here, and these are solid. I've looked online, I've watched loads of reviews. These do not move. These are fixed, so he cannot do a full 360 rotation. His arms come up to about here. Seriously, Hasbro? Seriously, $55. $55. Another thing, I feel like so many people have complained and said in the past about covers for the undersides of these arms, and really, I really would not have minded just having that left open. I'm not angry or upset or anything. I'm just disappointed, because it's like the designers saw everyone's complaints and thought, right, you want a panel to close this up? We're going to give you the biggest, stupidest panel, and we're not going to lock it into place. So whenever you move the arm, this back, which rotates due to transformation, is going to move too. So everything is loose, and not loose in a bad way, but it's just loose. It doesn't click in anywhere. If it clicked in, that wouldn't have been a problem, but again, minor things which contribute to this not being that great. Legs though, regular range of motion. These panels here are great, and yeah, I think they're not meant to go up that far, but you've got full range with the knees and the legs and the thigh swivel, which is at the top. But this has got some really good, and it does well over 90 degrees, so you've got real good posing, and especially with him looking up, you can really have an attack or being attacked stance. So yeah, that's great. The wings are also the legs, so that is awesome, and they unclip like that. That was my fault, that wasn't the toys. But again, this doesn't clip in all the way, so I guess mileage may vary, but for the robot mode, it's really good. Having said that, so yeah, overall the robot mode is really good. I love the silver, I love the purple. All the colors are just in the right quantities where they work with each other really well, just to deliver that classic Blitzwing. But it's the price point for me, and money being as tight as it is for a lot of people, and I see a lot of collections on sale on Mercari and eBay, this really isn't $55 worth of plastic, I feel. As good as some of the engineering is, I'm sorry, Hasbro. But with a magical wave of my hand and pulling this off camera and then putting it back in camera, we will look at jet mode. And here Blitzwing is in jet mode, and from certain angles it looks great, from other angles not so much, but it's a triple changer. That is what you get with triple changes, and it's how the original toy was, with all the tank kind of bundled up at the back to try and give the jet mode more aerodynamic look. But everything works as you'd normally expect. The panels flip out. You've got a bit that flips out like Cyclonus with the nose cone, then that flips round and the head is underneath. So you've also got these panels which flip back and out. So all of the legs become the wings. The tail fins and the thrusters obviously become the heel spurs and stabilizers for the feet. The backpack really is just all of the tank. So it's from one mode to the other. You've got either jet kibble, which you will see in tank mode, or tank kibble in jet mode. And in robot mode, it kind of neatly, it does kind of gel together well in robot mode, which I think is the best of the modes. But I do love me a big purple jet. And again, the colors are doing what exactly they should do. There's a little bit of gray on the under, or sand on the underneath. There's purple mainly on the top, which is the primary color for the jet. So I can't complain. It's a good jet. The only thing is, again, with the warpage, some of the wing doesn't like to stay even out, which is a minor gripe. And there's a lot of clips in certain places, which on the legs, just there and there, and you've got another one down here which holds all this in place. You have to kind of go through and double check they are all in position, otherwise it just looks terrible from back here. But with it all plugged in, turret's moving, with it all plugged in, it does its job. It looks good. It's, you know, like I said, there's no clip out, there's no clip place for the wings, so they do just kind of like stay where they are, and if they get moved, you have to move them back in position. But I like it. It's a good jet mode. And you've also got the landing gear, which is under his chest piece, but even without the landing gear, you can still kind of, you know, he's light enough at this end where he won't like tip down. So not a bad jet mode. Not a bad jet mode. It does what you'd expect it to. So shall we see tank mode? Yes, we should. And here we have chugging in tank mode, and the official way is to kind of leave them out, but I find that there's no clearance, so just gonna leave that like that. It looks a little bit better. But overall tank mode is a bit ropey. Like the front, I know clips in okay, but there is a lot of gappage in the top, and there is a lot of jet and chest visible. And yeah, I know people are going to say, well, that's how the original toy was and that's what they're emulating, so you shouldn't really complain. But it looks like a dog's penis. I'm sorry, but it does. It's very visible. It doesn't look like a second cockpit. It looks ridiculous. And tank mode, I hate tank mode. I really hate tank mode. And it's horrible because it's the least together of the modes. There's too much gappage for me. There's too much kibble of the jet. And again, these things, I know in robot mode, the arm, it kind of hangs a bit and impedes the arm's articulation a little. But in tank mode, it doesn't really like clip in anywhere. So if they'd have found a better way to kind of integrate those panels to hold more of the front together, I wouldn't mind it so much. And it's a shame because this is the best turret. Yes, a good thing. I'm going to say a good thing. This is the best turret. It's got a full 360. The top opens up. So in robot mode, you can hide that away. And even in robot mode, if you want to get more of a G1 look, you can leave that out and just spin that round. So it looks more like the G1 robot, because he did have a big cannon stick over his shoulder. There's good articulation on here as well. It can go up and down. So yeah, it's got good articulation for the tank, but again, this for me, there's too much purple coming through, and it really does overpower the sand color of the tank. And it's a shame, because this is the one mode that I feel like they could have really pulled off if they'd have just incorporated another way for this to fold in or separate, or just do something, because you can tell that this is a jet on the underside, and then you can tell that what becomes the robot, like the legs extend, this goes up, the arms, which are, well, here, will stay where they are and just fold together. It's an attempt, and it's a really good attempt. It's just not me. Like, the detailing is really good, and the color they've picked is just perfect, but from the side it's not too bad. But as soon as you change angles, just like the jet, it kind of falls apart for me, and not in a good way. But again, it's the little attention to detail where they didn't have to, like all the stuff on the side of the tanks, and like the hatch molded in here, the side guns, all the little paneling, like the vents and everything. It's good, but I wish there was more of it throughout the figure to just get it to work a little bit better in this mode. I really do. And I hate saying it, but weakest mode, yeah, there's ports everywhere for the accessories and the fists and the guns, but no, sorry, this is a fail for me. So I'm going to close out now in robot mode, just having him dual wield. There is a lot of good things I do like about the figure. Aesthetically and color wise, the palette is really good, and in robot mode, like I say, it's got everything in good balance where it needs to be. It's just when you start transforming him and you get back into tank mode, it seems to be they started off in a real good place and a real strong effort, but then they just kind of devolved from jet mode to tank mode and sacrificed a whole lot to get all three things in. And again, I know it's a combiner, and I know that things have to be sacrificed, but tweaks here and there, which I know third parties will probably come out with better things for the arms and just things in general. Completely missed that. That was ridiculous, but I'm glad I got it on camera. It's just, for me, this is not $55 worth of product. There's too many flaws, which are, yes, cosmetic, but when you can't even raise the figure's arms up all the way, that's something that got fixed a very long time ago, even way back in the Prime Wars trilogy. So now I'm kind of at a loss, as in some ways it looks like there are giant leaps forward, especially with the engineering wise and the way the legs fold up and the wings become the legs, and just the wrist rotation that they managed to fit in with the hand moving into this panel here, and just the way the whole front curves around his body and just clicks everything into place. It seems engineering wise there's so many good ideas and they pulled those off, but they sacrificed quite a lot in order to get to that point. But again, aesthetically on a shelf, he looks good, and I can't complain that much because it's a decent Blitzwing figure. It's by far better than the Titans Return and the Thrilling 30, and it feels like we're getting there, but I feel like the next one might actually nail it completely. All three modes, the whole color scheme, the whole look, it just feels like this is still a work in progress. And I hate saying that for a very expensive Voyager class, if you will, figure, but I got to lay it on the line. I've got to be the bad guy here for bad guys and say that triple changes deserve better. They deserve so much better. And until they get that, triple changer rights. Come on. We need Sandstorm next. I want to rip him apart. Anyway, wrapping this up. Do I really think that getting Legacy Blitzwing is worth it?
Well, I'm hoping while I'm trying this again, this answers your question.
Well, small box Toy Scourge here. If you've made it to the end of the video, clap, clap, clap. Well done. Thank you for watching, Nerd Appreciation. If you like what you've seen here, me destroying Blitzwing completely, like, share, maybe, subscribe to the channel for more content, maybe in the future coming. When I don't know, I have no fixed schedule, but more than welcome to join whenever you're ready. So, on that note, bye.